about tackling clinic, effective tackling clinic, better tackling clinic. Glad you're here. Give yourself a hand, please. It's a Saturday morning, and you got up early. You braved the freeways and the streets and all the congestion, and you're here for one reason: to make the game better, to learn the technology you need to be the best coach, to be the best player, to be the best parent, to be the best supporter of what we feel is the most beautiful game on earth. It has done more to build and develop people, men, women, communities, to be everything that God would want them to be. So I want to thank you for being here. First off, I want to thank specifically Coach Sims. Coach Sims, where are you? Stand up, please. Coach Sims is the athletic director and the head coach here at Inglewood High School. He graciously has leveraged his influence and facilities to host this thing. So thank you very much for being here, Coach. And thank you. All right, my name is Michael Sylvester. I work with Athletes in Action at USC in the inner city of Los Angeles. And it's been my pleasure through the years to be able to know and touch and engage and get to see the world of football through behind the stage. You know, our role with Athletes in Action is to support the athletic influence from a spiritual perspective. That's what we do. And it's been our privilege and blessing through the years. We've been at USC. Coach Foster was asking me, how long have you been here? We've been at USC since 1994. And in that time, we've seen a lot of football, a lot of people, and a lot of change that's happened through the sport of football. So without further ado, what we want to do is this. Here's what the day is going to look like. We're going to see some of our football experts. We're going to hear from them. And then Coach Rocky Seto is going to provide a really robust tackling treatment on how to perform better, safer, more effective tackling. And then we're going to have a chance for you, the audience, to ask some of those questions that you might have always wanted to ask, but haven't had the opportunity because you can't talk to a television screen, you can't talk to a YouTube video clip, but you're going to have industry professionals here to whom you can ask questions. And here's what we ask. When we get to the Q&A session, they can ask the questions Twitter style. We don't need to know where you played Pop Warner. We don't need to know when you started football. We need to know all the whole backstory. But if you would, so that more people can get to ask their questions, ask the specific thing you want to know, and let our experts answer the questions. So, is that fair? Great. So without further ado, let's have some of our experts come forward. Coach John Foster, please come forward. Special teams coach, Los Angeles Rams. Coach Jeff Imamura, defensive coach, Los Angeles Rams. Please come up. Coach Will Rodriguez, please come up. Give him a hand. And we would please have Coach Kenny Norton, please come up. Give him a hand. And from the colony, by way of the NFL, Bobby Wagner, please come forward. Hey, Chris, could you do me a favor? There's an extra microphone up there. I'm running out of juice here. Just right there on that sound tape, that red sound tape. Chris Dennis. That's Chris Cash, former Trojan, deep at the back, now coaching at Western Kentucky University. That's Chris Cash right there. Thanks, Chris. That better, folks? There we go. I don't have to yell. All right, let's start. Coach Boston, special teams coach, Los Angeles Rams. You see a lot of impact. You see a lot of hits. You got to coach a lot of technique. Just briefly, Twitter style, having guys come in from college to the pros. Speak to a couple of the challenges you had in teaching some of the technique that you guys teach from Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I mean, we get guys in, especially from the special teams perspective. respect. There's not a lot of college kids that play a lot of special teams. You know, so when we get some of these kids, there's different type of tackling and blocking techniques that maybe are unique to football that you don't see on offense and defense. So we try to just really hard in practice about using the proper techniques, you know, and we look for quality over volume. So we're not trying to rapid fire drills. We're just looking to do it right one or two times, you know, using some of the techniques that you see here today.
Excellent. So you guys employ almost like a lab setting. You're not trying to grind through a mill to do 100 reps.
Right.
Okay, got it. Coach Imamura, okay, on the defensive side, you've got guys going over and playing special teams with Coach Fossil. Do you see any translation with what's being taught there with what you guys teach on the defensive side?
Oh, no question. And we make an emphasis of that daily on what we do. So there's a lot of carryover. We develop a lot of synergies from that, especially with tackling the opponent. Certainly blocking and tackling are the two primary ways to win football games. They haven't changed. But we're going to continue to leverage those opportunities in special teams, and we work together, especially Bones and I, on the tackling the opponent to make sure that there's a lot of consistency there, carry over, and it certainly reinforces learn.
Thanks, Coach. Now, Coach Rodriguez, I'm going to say almost like you're a translator between the two because you're assistant Coach Fossil on the special teams, then correct? Speak to maybe one of the challenges that you've seen as you bring some of the different offensive players over, different defensive players over to the special team side. Are there some unique challenges, maybe one unique challenge you see in translating over to special teams some of the techniques that you teach?
I would say probably the lines that there are a lot of guys on this side that usually don't know what to do. They're kind of like unsure because they're usually taking it, not giving it. So I'll
Hold on real quick. As MC, I've got to say this. So you're saying the offensive guys used to be in the nail and not the hammer? Is that what you're saying, Coach? I mean, I'm not trying to split the room here, but Coach, is that what you're saying?
yeah, I would say maybe that's kind of obviously a couple of guys that's also here that a lot of guys get in the national league. So there are some guys that we've seen actually do the call game bashing. Like we got 7-7 Bailey and guys who actually need who actually can do actually a very good job that we have actually on the radar and do translate into very good football players, not just offense and defense, all around players.
Excellent. So it sounds like what you're saying, Coach, and what you're saying, coaches, the more experience at which they arrive in the NFL, doing a bunch of different things, the easier your role is to coach and translate from defense to special teams to seven. And again, you guys said I did the offensive players are the nails and not the hammers. You guys say that? You didn't say that? Okay, I'm sorry, Coach. I said that. Okay, all right. Mr. Wagner, all right. Bobby, okay, Bobby, all right, Bobby, okay. This is the IE. Robert, great. Bobby, excuse me, I stand corrected. You're unique in that you're an expert player. And at college, did you play some offense too? You did play offense too, okay. So you played offense in high school, in defense, and you are an expert, we would say, defensive player at the NFL level. Has the teaching from the junior level to the high school level to college and now professional, has it been consistent for you or has it been inconsistent? And what have some of the differences been that you've noticed as it relates specifically Bobby to tackle?
I think it's definitely a little bit. You're more aware of where your head's at in the NFL versus younger. You kind of just got the guy down. So I think when I was in high school, it was just emphasizing hitting as hard as we can with whatever we can. And then as we got to college, you had a little bit more technique. But once you got into the league, they definitely made sure you wanted to keep your head out of the game because we know what kind of happens when you get your head in the game and cause concussion and stuff like that.
Okay, so at the NFL level, you guys are actually talking about keeping your head out and employing more of your body parts in getting the guy down as an point of emphasis. Is that right? Excellent, excellent. Difficult transition, easy transition for you in moving from
high school to college approach to this I'd say more effective tackling? So you got to understand these two, okay? He was his linebacker coach for several years, so that's the back and forth with these two.
I would say it was quite easy, you know, 'cause I never really liked to use my head. I have pretty big shoulders, so I use my shoulders. But I would just say you just need to be more aware. I think a lot of times right now, the kids are so worried about being concussions and stuff like that that they're not focused on having fun because the game is fun. And they're focused on, you know, having fun, not worried about everything. But I think, you know, you don't worry when you practice the proper technique. So if you do the practice and stuff during the week, come game day, you won't worry about that. And I think that's what kids are making a mistake right now. They're worried so much about, you know, what they need to do instead of just practicing during the week and being comfortable enough and to just do it.
So practice matters.
Yeah, practice does matter.
So practice the proper technique during the week, you can play free on Sunday.
Correct.
Excellent. Bobby, thanks. By the way, who's better linebacker, you or Coach Norton?
The client said Coach Norton.
Okay, there you go. Okay, Kenny,
Yes.
Coach, we've known each other for a while.
Some people say too long.
I'm just glad you're here. Let me start.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Really thank you.
Coach, thanks. Okay, man of the city, Westchester comment, went from Westchester to UCLA, you did what you did there, and you get to the NFL, and you played for several years in the NFL, a long time in the NFL, at a very, very high level. Some would say you stopped too soon. But you played at a high level, and Kenny, you saw a lot of stuff. I mean, we were joking before we started about Coach Foss, bull in the ring and Oklahoma drills and all that stuff. What are some of the changes? And you played an interesting year in the 90s to the 2000s. A lot of changes happened during that time. What are some of the What are some of the interesting changes that you've seen as it relates to tackling through those years?
I would say just the awareness, the ability of the coaches to teach you better. I think in the early days it was a matter of get your head across, knock them out. Now it's a matter of tackling better. I think the coaches are better with the awareness of players, not getting hurt. I think you want to. I think the studies have shown that if you use your head too much, you might get hurt, and things might not be good for you. So it's important for us to now take the head out of tackling and put the shoulder in the tackle. I think that Coach Seto and the Seahawks done a great job of really emphasizing that.
So, thank you, Coach. So early on, okay, some new technology, some new tackling technology, marrying it with some of your old technology that you would teach as a coach and as an expert and as a former practitioner. What were some of the challenges making the translation old to the new coach? Did you throw out the old and just bring in all the new? Or was there some carryover that was helpful for you even now?
Well, you want to combine the two, but you still want to run through them, still want to hit them hard, still want to knock the snot out of them, but you want to have a little technique about it. You want to be able to think afterwards. You want to get up and see. So it's important that you run through them, same foot, same shoulder, leverage tackle, but now take your head out of it, and use your shoulder. So it's important that you really build the shoulders up and really practice it, and really drill it, really emphasize it, and you'd be surprised how well they get really good.
Coach, thanks so much. Folks, let's give our experts a panel of hands. We'll be at the top a little later for the Q&A. Thank you. Coach Rocky Seto, assistant head coach for the defense, Seattle Seahawks. Met Rocky as a junior at USC and watched him earn a scholarship at USC as a linebacker. From there, watched Rocky move up the coaching ranks, first at USC and then with the Seattle Seahawks. And it's interesting because Coach Carroll said it, no one else did. He called you kind of a keeper of the flame of this technology. And is anything ever really new? It's really kind of old stuff repackaged, and we bring it back up and highlight and elevate it so that in this new space, we can practice some of the old things that weren't really that bad at all, really. Coach has called him Keeper of the Flame. Rocky's been doing these, Coach Seto's been doing these tackling clinics and seminars all through Southern California, and there'll be more and more being done so that effective, better, and if you want to know anything about the NFL, it's this. If it's something that can make the product on the field better, the NFL is going to do it. No question about it, no expense spared. And so as this has been something that has helped accelerate and grow the players, the Seahawk program, we're talking about the Rams now, Coach Norton with the Oakland Raiders as well. This is something that is important not just for the NFL, but it's important for you too, the end user, at the high schools, at the middle school levels, at the youth levels. And so that's why it's important that Coach Seto's here, that's why it's important these experts are here, and we're glad you're here to participate in this. So without further ado, we'll get to some of the nuts and bolts of this effective Seahawk tackling method. Coach Rocky Seto, would you come forward, please?
And thanks for coming to this event. It's a big deal that we get to do this. I want you guys and everyone to notice that the power of how important this is. This is the future of football. We love football, and this is the future. We have divisional rivals. I mean, the Rams are one of our great rivals, and an incredible challenge every year. Okay, and then we got the Raiders here. The NFL has come together in essence to promote a message that's bigger than just the competition of opponents. This is about the game of football. This is about players, safety, and prolonging the game beyond where we have it right now. Promoting the game. So, in essence, we have Mike Barrow, linebacker coach from the Seahawks here as well. He's going to help teach our principals. Okay, so let's give him a hand. Okay. Our technology is down, but we're going to keep going forward here. It's great that he's here. And before we even get to this, how did this happen? We started teaching this principle, when Kenny was with us, and all the assistants have done an incredible job of putting it out there, okay, into our Seahawks players. Bobby and his teammates have done an incredible job of making it a legitimate technique. Okay, if it didn't work, if it didn't show up on the tape, then we wouldn't be here talking about this today. So the coaches and the players have made this a topical, a legitimate technique that we're talking about. So really how this came about is this. One day the word spread in my mind through a guy from England. His name is Kit Lawson. Back in 2012, he came to visit the Seahawks. And as he came, he was one of the guest coaches that come up and visit us, like a lot of NFL teams do. And the Rams hosted a ton of high school coaches recently. Hundreds of coaches came out in the area. But we had a guy come from England. He was a football coach who coaches at Birmingham University, not of Alabama, but of England, okay, at a different school. And I was just talking to him, hey, this is how we teach our tackling. And all he said was this. This was a gift from God. He said, all that is a rugby tackle. Right then in there, it popped in my mind. We got to teach this principle of hitting with our shoulders, tackling with our shoulders, showing the rugby guys do it, and see how they knock guys down and knock each other to the ground and help each other up and they get off the ground. No pads, no helmets, just t-shirts and shorts. You've seen the guys. They may have some leather thing or some ear protectors, but that's it. And so we had a theory as the years have gone by, as we start pushing this technique, and the guys have done a great job, is how did the guys tackle before they had the face mask on? Okay, because in essence, our game that we love was birthed out of rugby. It's over the last 30, 40 years, it's been taught, get your head across, see what you hit. Okay, and that's how I was raised. That's how all these guys up here have been raised as well. There's no fault to the coaches at the time, but this was normal. In essence, we're using our helmet to get in there with the face mask. The technology improved. But we had a theory. Okay, what this theory was, I bet you before they put the face mask on, the original football players. I'm talking leather helmets, I'm talking about plastic helmets, no face masks, they hit with the shoulders. And as soon as the technology got better, the coaching evolved to seeing what you hit. So I talked to a friend, his name is John MacArthur, and he's close to his 80s, he's approaching his 80s, and I asked him, and he played football, he was a really good college football player back in the day, and I said, how were you taught to teach tackling, John? And John said, you know, and just to date him a little bit, in his senior year, they put a face mask on the helmets. Okay, just to kind of date him where he's at. Okay, he played in the late 50s, early 60s in high school and college. So he goes, oh, Rocky, it was all shoulders, wrap, and drive. That's all it was. So are you telling me, John, that you coaches didn't tell you to throw see what you hit? No, we didn't have face masks on. So, and then, okay, all right, that's cool. Okay, so we put another call into Dick Butkus. The Dick Butkus, I'm talking, Chicago Bear, the great linebacker, the iconic linebacker that we know of. Dick Butkus, I said, Mr. Butkus, how did you tackle? What were you taught to tackle? He goes, Rocky, he sounds just like how you imagine him, right? Just like how you see him, he's him. And he said, I hit him with my body and I wrapped him up. I said, wait, hold on, Mr. Butkus, are you telling me that you didn't get your head in there? He goes, no, I just hit him with my body. Okay, and so this was confirming, really, we're taking the technique of shoulder tackling. I don't think we really invented anything at the Hawks. I think we just kind of started developing a principle and they found out, wait a minute, this is how they used to do it back in the day. Okay, so the one thing that I would love to impress upon everyone here is this. We're a shoulder tackling game. This is where the game has come to. The helmet is there for protection. Just like when we get in the cars when we get home today, we put the seatbelt on for protection just in case. If the head or the helmet gets in there, the helmet and the face mask there as protection. It isn't there primarily. So we're loading up our shoulders and our chest in every tackle that we do. So coaches that are in here, we're not really revolutionizing every technique that we've taught or you've taught. Really, it's simplified. Instead of asking the guys to see what you get your head across, boom, it's near foot in your shoulder like Kenny talked about, and we're striking and working on our shoulder punches, and that's where the hit happens. We're working on loading up the shoulder and the chest area. Okay, so, and the biggest thing, Coach Barrow's going to come up here, let's get on stage here. Biggest thing that we're talking about here is, I want to see if we can get this out. Okay, we can't get that out. Okay, basically, as I'm tackling Coach Barrow here, which shoulder do I hit with? In essence, my leveraged shoulder, it's a leveraged tackling system. So if I'm coming at Coach Barrow here, I already know we have a tackling plan. It's got to be a left shoulder hit. Okay, and the biggest thing that's happened with our team, this has helped our performance because we've minimized our missed tackles because I believe it's about the leverage. Okay, so right now as I'm approaching Coach Barrow, whether I hit him as a profile tackle, which is at the near back, or at the hawk level, or whatever you guys call it, we call it a thigh tackle, I'm hitting him with my left shoulder. Where do I keep my head? The head stays to the leverage side. So moms and dads out there, the reason why we want you there or here is this, to hear the message what your coaches are teaching. The head stays to the leverage side, and boom, but I'm striking with my chest and shoulder. Vice versa, the old days was get your head across, see what you hit. Okay, so in essence, I want to give you a stat how crucial this is for the health of our players. Back in 2010, Kenny and us from USC, we went to Seattle Seahawks. Okay, we had 19 concussions as a team. Okay, in 2011, it was about 15, and in 2012, we're able to cut down from 14 concussions to 2012 when we started implementing our shoulder tackling system. It dropped to 7 as a team. Okay, and then 2013, 14, 15, we dropped our concussions on defense to 2. Okay, and thank God. We can't say it's all about the technique, but thank God we like to think that it's helped. And 2 of the concussions that we had the last 2 years on defense, of 2015 and 2014, were not even on tackling plays. So we believe that this is going to help the health of your team. like we said, no tackling technique will eliminate all injuries. This is still football. But it minimized our injuries, and also it's helped us over the last 4 years or so. We've been at the top of the league in yards after the catch, yards after contact, and so we're just trying to quantify how well we're I think it's helped us. So this technique is not just about health, although that's probably the primary thing. In addition, it's helped our principals. Guys like Bobby, these guys care so much about their game. If it didn't work, I can't get up in front of the players and say, hey, this is going to help your game. These guys believe in it. These guys have made it work. So, as we get back to the technique here, it's about leverage. And when we're talking about retracting the near hip, before I can even get to Coach Barrow to tackle him, I have to run and tackle him. I got to attract the near hip. And the reason why I retract the near hip is if I look at his head and shoulders, he could fool me. But any good DB coach would tell you that hip moves, that ball carrier is going to move. So coaches, I'm working. Now, as you notice the posture I'm in a near foot. What do I talk about near foot? This is a far foot. Okay, we want to get the near foot to the ball carrier. Why do I have the near foot in? Coach Barrow's going to explain in a second, because you got more power, because we talked about near foot, near shoulder, but at the same time, if Coach Barrow wants to cut back on me, if my near foot's up, my hip, so my leverage side's open up so I can get ground and still maintain my leverage. Vice versa, if I have my far foot up, he cuts back, my hip is locked out. Then it's over. I lost my leverage. So the big thing is I want to get a good near foot, so I got power, and if he cuts back, my hip is opened up to maintain leverage. Okay, so that's one of the biggest principles we're going to talk about is leverage. How do we maintain leverage? Near what? What do we talk about? Let's hear it. Near what? Near foot. Maintaining near foot, and we track the near what? Near hip. That's the essence. And from there, our shoulder, which shoulder is already determined. From there, we're going to determine what type of tackle are we going to hit them with. At the profile tackle, we're going to cover 2 tackles today. Basically, the profile tackle is a traditional tackle. We're going to strike my shoulder right through the near pec. And then there's a thigh tackle, right above the knees, below the hip right there. That's what we call a hot tackle. Back at USC, we used to call it Trojan tackles. So you call it whatever you want. But still it's a shoulder hit, and then striking the near foot. So Coach Barrow, he's going to talk about the profile tackle right now, okay?
All right, like Coach Rocky just talked about, the profile tackle, just simple like in baseball, you talk about the strike zone. So you're talking about from his near pec all the way down to his waist, all right? So usually when you do that type of tackle, all right, usually for guys that, if a guy's bigger than you than 10, we try to encourage they tackle at the thigh. Everybody understand that? All right, so now when I'm going profile tackle, near foot, near shoulder, and my aiming point right now is at near pec. All right, my aiming point at near pec. Just like you talked about, one of the other reasons why we go near foot, near shoulder is that you have more power. When I have my near foot down, my near shoulder, I'm in a power position right now. All right, everybody understand that? So when I go to hit him, I'm hitting him with power. All right, now one of the other coaching points that we'll talk about, shoulder lever type of team. One thing that we always, just like Rocky talked about, the helmet is there for protection. And one of the ways that we can continue to protect ourselves, we got to keep our head up. Do everybody understand that? All right, you still want to keep your head up, but you want to keep your head out of it. So now when I go near foot, near shoulder, and I hit a profile tackle, and now all I'm doing is wrap and drop. One of the terms we talked about is drive for 5. So I'm going to wrap, all right, wrap, and then I'm driving for 5. All right, I'm using my power to go ahead and knock him back. All right, so most people talk about, well, I don't have my head in it, this and that. I'm not going to get a big hit. Trust me, if you go near foot, near shoulder, when we put up, it's unfortunate that the machine is not working because you'll see some big hits. Our guys are still delivering some big hits because they're in a power position. Everybody understand that? They're in a power position. Power position. So boom, I'm right here, bam, I'm ready to go. So just the same thing. Now, we don't want to take this for granted, all right? My near foot, near shoulder. What is my foot that's closest to his body? It's right here. We're talking about, in this example, it's my left foot, and it's my left shoulder. And just like we talked about, when I aim right here, it allows me to be aggressive because as I go close on that near hip, If he was to cut back, he's going to run right into me. Did everybody say that? So it gives me the confidence when we talk about closing and certain drills that we do to get ourselves in that position. So if I'm way out here 10 yards away, I'm running. We're running. All right, then now when I get in the tackling position, then now I'm going near foot, near foot. Do everybody understand me? Do everybody understand me? We got to run together, so we want to close the cushion to get ourselves in that position. Close, and this is drills that we do for defense, special teams, even offense to just get in a position where you make the block. It's the same technique. Do everybody understand that? So we work on this all the time, but just to talk about the profile type, I'm here, I'm running, I get close, near foot, my eyes are right near hip, and then now, boom, I'm wrapping, and I'm driving for 5. Everybody understand that? I'm wrapping, all right, I'm here, near foot, wrap, all right, and then now I'm driving for 5. Everybody understand that?
All right, so those are some of the principles that we talk about. And the fundamentals of it is this. The moms and dads say, okay, and coaches, where's the head there? Keep it to your leverage side. So if I'm the tackler, a lot of times, if they're running towards a tackler, a Bobby, Camp Chancellor, most guys are going to run away from him. Okay, this is natural to try to get more yards, to run away from. So when we hit bam, a lot of times, the question is asked, why is the head behind? Isn't that going to hurt their tackling? Well, it happens a lot just because he's going to run away. But there are instances where if Mike cuts back into my leverage, I'm still going to be hitting with my near shoulder, but my head will be across. We call that a cross-face tackle. That may look like more of a traditional tackle. Okay, so head is to the leverage side. It's already to I got a tackling plan. I'm going to hit with my leverage side shoulder. It's already set. Okay, that's where I believe gives our players a lot of confidence. Boom, I'm working. Boom, I'm already hitting my left shoulder. However it works out, he goes away, he comes through me. I'm still going to target with my shoulder. Now, big principles. I've been asked, well, coach, what if it's a head-up tackle? Okay, and we haven't had many of those, but if they are, we just say, hey, choose a leverage. We just choose a leverage and go with it. We don't want to overly complicate tackling. It's still football. We got to have our guys run and hit and play hard. So it's like, if you just choose a leverage and own that hit. Okay? Choose a leverage and own the hit. And the point that Mike talked about is the run and gather. That's a huge point that he brought up. Running is this. I'm running like you know how, and as I get close enough to where he can start attacking my leverage, then I get to my gather, which is a near foot swoop. Okay, so I'm running, and his hip starts to stutter. I'm stuttering and getting to a near foot swoop. That's a run and gather. So I'm gathering with the near foot and working. So this is the emphasis that we work on to make sure. So that's a profile tackle that we're going to talk. We talked about right there. It's more of the traditional hit 'em high tackle. Okay, but as we move forward here, I want to talk about more about our thigh tackles, what we call a hawk tackle. And on the internet and stuff like that, we've been known as a hawk tackling technique. It's caught on just maybe because of the name, but I wish we were known as a shoulder tackling team. Okay, it doesn't matter what team that you play for or coach for, whether it's an NFL or youth football, shoulder tackling. Okay, but this is our hawk tackle system. We're tackling guys at the thigh level. Okay, tackling guys at the thigh level. And what does that mean? It's the main coaching points is this. We go eyes to the thighs. So as I'm tracking the near hip of Coach Barrow, I got my left shoulder, bam, eyes to the thighs. That makes sure my eyes are going straight up. We don't want to be down. We go eyes to the thighs, wrap and drive for 5. And how do you teach this principle is this. Just take it slow. Take it from the very ground level of stuff. So what we could do here in our techniques is this. I'm going to put my stuff down here. Okay, so right here, we got some space here. And as we work our techniques, we work just simple principles of starting with no space. Okay, and it's important as we work these principles that we're able to practice this without any pads on. So as we go through spring practice and summer camp, we don't have to kill each other. In particular with youth sports, the more I talk to youth coaches, it's about keeping it fun. Guys, I've seen a tape of the first day of practice, guys running right into each other. I'm talking little kids doing some kind of Oklahoma drill, Cardinal goal drill, right from the get-go. Okay, it's like, yeah, too early, right? And that kid doesn't want to play football anymore. It's about having fun. So starting off slow gives confidence to the guys. Okay, so Mike's going to demonstrate to you. You can tackle on me, okay?
All right. So right here,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm going to go for the knees here.
Okay, what you gonna do?
You're going to tackle me.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, so like Coach was talking about, Coach Rocky was talking about, all right? So I'm in this position, eyes through the thighs, all right? So I emphasize keeping my head up. Do everybody understand that? All right, I'm still in this near foot, near shoulder position. All right, so now instead of my aiming point being the near pad, now my aiming point is the thighs. All right, so no different, nothing changes. I still, right here, eyes through the thighs, I wrap, all right, and then now I drive for 5. So from this position, so what we do, like we talked about, is no different than learning how to ride a bike, all right? We break it out, you got the training wheels on, then you take it off, all right? Well, you got training wheels on, your dad helping you push you, right? Then you try to take them off, your dad still helping push you, and then eventually you start riding, you fall down a little bit, but you just keep doing it. You don't have to do a whole bunch of drills. If you just stick to the foundational drills and work on these things, you're gonna get better and better. All right, it's the same thing we do. All right, same thing we do on our level. We do the same basic drill pretty much every week, but we continue to work on and refine it. All right, now going back to the basic point, like we talked about, we're breaking it down. So now I'm on my knees, so I want to emphasize the same point. Eyes through the thighs. So one way you can do it, all right, eyes through the thighs, I wrap, all right, and then now I drive for 5. So you just work on this. Just work on, let's break it down even simple. Eyes through the thighs, wrap. Eyes through the thighs, wrap. Eyes through the thighs, wrap. Everybody stand there. Just getting used to getting in that position. Right here. Eyes through the thighs, wrap. Eyes through the thighs, wrap. All right, and so you can just work one side and go to the other side, same position. Shoulder lever tapping. I got my angle. Eyes through the thighs, wrap. Eyes through the thighs, wrap. All right? And those are things you constantly do over and over. And then now, when we have pads on, I can get in the same position, eyes through the thighs, wrap, and then I can emphasize and drive for 5. Everybody understand that? All right? And one thing we do on our level, we'll put a mat behind them, so that way they not fall on the ground, prevent any unnecessary injury.
Okay, well, you know what? I've been working out. This is a hard floor. One thing is I hope I don't fall onto the ground here. I don't know if I can survive that one, but I can survive here. Mike's going to actually, I think this is important to prove to the coaches that you got to own this technique. That means it's not something you can watch on our videos that you've seen on the internet and say, all right, this is what I'm going to teach. You have to do it to each other. So you know what it feels like, so you know what it looks like. And also, I think it proves to the tackler or the tacklee, the guy who's getting tackled, that it's safe. You can get right off the ground and still survive. So let's see if we're going to do it. Maybe we go this way, okay, Mike, so that we don't fall off the ledge there, okay? So he's going to go eyes to thighs, rah, and then I'm going to go. He's going to drive from his knees and just take me to the ground, okay? So he's going to go eyes to thighs, wrap, and then boom, there it is. There it is, and just work it. You can do it again. Here. That's the beauty of it. You can start convincing your players that it's not going to kill them. Okay? Go ahead. Boom, boom, boom. Right there. That's what it is. And ideally, you don't want to do on the wood floor, but you got grass or something. Let's go work the other side. There's no space right there. There's no space involved there. And so as we work this technique, it's important now that as there's no space, it's a progression. This is the very start of this whole thing to develop confidence and trust in this area. Okay, here we go. Go ahead. Boom, boom. Eyes to thighs, drop. No helmets, no shoulder pads. Just let's do one more time here. Boom, you got it. Boom. Oh, there it is. Beautiful, beautiful. And so, that's good. Carol's awesome. So as we do this is something that I remember. I tell this as a joke, but it's the truth. I remember Kenny, I don't remember Kenny. We were in like the hallways of USC, Coach Carroll, tackling us and we're tackling him. We still do it to each other. This is one of the principles here. As we talk about shoulder tackling, this can't be like a principle, oh, cool, I saw this in the internet, or I went to this talk at Inglewood High School, it was cool. And then that's it. Unless we are able to own the technique, own the principles, it's not going to get anywhere. Okay, and here's another point that we're talking about. In our hawk tackles, people have asked this, is this a safe tackle for youth or high school players, or is it just more of a professional advanced technique? We say this, in South Africa, okay, where rugby is king, they don't play football like the way we do. Rugby is something that they love and they live by, is this. They do not even allow youth to tackle above the waist until they're older. This is how they tackle, right at the thighs. And for us, at the Hawks and at USC, this has been an incredible principle for us that we've been able to use. And admittedly, we didn't have the shoulder principles in place at USC, but these techniques that we use have been there. But where we tweaked it and where we've grown is now we're a leveraged shoulder tackling team. Okay, and Kenny is taking it to the Raiders. The Rams are doing a great job in their tackling principle. The Chargers have been talking about. The Jaguars are doing it. They're giving clinics as well. The Atlanta Hawks are doing it with Coach Dan Quinn, who went to Atlanta. So, and then the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Washington Huskies, Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So it's spreading through this is the future of football. This is clearly the future of football. And in essence, if we don't have a clear understanding how this has to be, then it's just going to keep hurting the game. Every week we have something come up. For example, right here in Lakewood, California, unfortunately, I looked on the USA Today, it's online. They're in the youth league, okay? There's a kid who got hurt, experienced a paralysis, and we don't want that. Nobody wants that, okay? What happened is that their family has filed a lawsuit against the coaches and the youth organization, stating that they weren't as clear about where the head should be. Okay, so if we're not clear, if there's any gray areas in how we coach, I think there's a third level to this. There's player safety, it's number one, clearly. Number two, it helps you make more tackles. Number three, okay, is to protect yourself, coaches, and your organizations. Because there is no recourse. If we're talking about get your head across, if you even allow the players to get your head across, you're putting yourself in harm's way in that way. People have asked me, what is the difference between what the Seahawks teach versus USA football? There is no difference anymore. We have come together with USA football, and we basically have filmed for like 16 hours, 2 straight days of how to drill this technique, which is going to come out here shortly, about how you teach this principle. USA football is shoulder tackling system, leverage shoulder tackling system. So if there's any questions about which technique do I use, it's shoulder tackling. Okay, this is clearly the future of the game. And so as we talk about going back to the hawk tackle or the thigh tackle, now you can progress. Now we're not going to do it right here because there's space and we don't have the equipment, but we could start working a step now. Work a step, boom, and then start taking each other down. We have a crash pad behind us. Okay, so using your imagination and how to elevate the techniques. Now, one of the last principles I want to talk about is what about the defenseless situation? That is the tackle that has happened throughout football that we love. I mean, we grew up watching football, those big-time kill shot hits over the middle. We love those. They sell a lot of videos and highlights, but now they're being used against the game of football now, these ugly hits. Okay, so what we're talking about is this. Even in those defensive situations, it's still a shoulder leverage tackle. So if Mike is on a post route or like a slant, and I'm a middle linebacker or the middle third safety, he comes, the ball's up in the air, this is still my leverage shoulder. I'm already still going to hit with my same side, same shoulder. Now, as he goes up, we talk about the strike zone. Above the knees, below the neck. All our emphasis is hitting him right in that strike zone. Okay? The head, my head, his head is completely out of those hits. So, and those principles, the beauty of the system, there's incredible carryover as we work it out through all the techniques. Whether it's a profile tackle, whether it's a hot tackle, or whether it's a defensive situation, hitting through the strike zone, we still do the same thing. It's all about leverage and maintaining and hitting through their shoulders. Now, we don't have the video here, but we have plenty of material on www.shouldertackling.com. Just type in shouldertackling.com and it'll show up. Okay, we have clinics there, we have the teach tapes there, we have a material there to help teach these principles. And like we said, USA Football is coming out with more information. Okay, now, the question I get at times, well, we don't have those sleds like you guys do in the NFL. We don't have these the crash pad that you guys have in the NFL. Got it, understood. Economics is an issue. If I were to recommend buying one piece of equipment, okay, it's not super expensive. It's those long, agile cushion pads that I would recommend. You could do it to tackle the bags. You could do it to tackle and keep it up there. Yes. Okay, sorry. And you could keep it right there at your near pec. You could have your athletes strike that bag. Okay, you can use your athletes to strike that bag in your technique. So it's not even about money, it's about which piece of equipment do you use. Coach Barrow has a drill where the Visio ball, those Pilates ball where we bounce it, and maybe you could talk through that drill.
Yeah, it's just to emphasize what Coach is talking about. I grew up, man, where you just, sometimes we have football, you just get a tennis ball, play like football, you just use your imagination a lot. Same thing we talking about these principles, you don't need to have a whole lot of equipment, all right? As long as you can work on it by yourself and just use your imagination, but just work on the technique. One of the things he talked about, all right, is limited hits. On our level, there's a certain amount of days where we can have pass, but also, all right, to get out of it where we're not hitting each other, to continue to emphasize the form. One thing we use is a Visio ball, and we do our normal drills, incorporate it, and then right when they come off of it, right, we'll throw the ball so we can emphasize a profile tackle. Does everybody understand that? So it's just little bounce balls. Some people at office, they sit on the bounce balls now instead of a chair. Just imagine that type of ball right there, and then now, right when they come off the drill, any type of move, we just bounce the ball, and we just work on emphasizing the profile tackle. So just near foot, they bounce the ball, boom, all right? Just wrap and drive. Just working on those things like that, and we use a lot of different things to emphasize the same point.
Yeah, so just being creative how we do it in the, yes?
Right, just real quick. You use some really technical terms, and we have different grades of understanding. We talk about words like leverage. We talk about words like near foot, near shoulder, or pinky. Break that down and just kind of explain what leverage might be.
Can we get this up so we can move it?
Okay, leverage essentially is this. The side that I'm coming from. So dads and moms, wherever vantage point, if I'm coming from his left, I'm going to stay on that side no matter what. That is my leverage. And there's power in that leverage. So as I'm coming up, and we talked about getting our near foot, literally what that means is I'm getting my near foot up. My foot that's closest to him is my near foot. So I'm getting in a near foot swoop. That's where there's power, because my near foot is up, I hit him with my near shoulder. There's power with that step in the ground, okay? And then also, like we talked about, we want to get our near foot up so that we maintain our leverage, meaning our side that we come from. As soon as he crosses the side, our side, that's when the missed tackles happen. Owning the hip, owning your leverage is one of the most crucial elements of what we're talking about. And finally, one of the things that we talk, let's do a roll tackle, okay? So the roll tackle is this. As I'm working here, I'll be the tackler here, okay? And as you step into me, we want to wrap, it's a thigh tackle, wrap it up, and then I'm going to drop and roll to my leverage. So in essence, we might not be able to do it because this is up here, but we'll go right here. In our roll tackles here, Okay, what we want to do, I'm going to come in. So this is my left shoulder here. Okay, I'm working on my left shoulder. I wrap and I drop and I roll, just like that. Touch on my. So in our power, so you guys have seen our roll tackles. People have asked, which way do I roll to? It's always about your leverage. Once again, you roll to the side of the leverage. That's where the power comes in. And like I said, I apologize for not having the examples here. They're up there on the internet, www.shouldertackling.com. Okay, so right now, I would love to open up for any specific questions, just like Mike talked about.
Let me show us some examples. Can you come in for a second? Can you come in? Okay, so I just want to emphasize a point because I do this with my guys in the meeting room just to emphasize additional points. Right now, Coach talked about, hey, having a near foot, all right? Same foot, same shoulder. And the reason why you want to do that, one of the reasons why you want to do that, it helps you put you in a power position. Everybody understand that? So I want him to get here, put your right foot up, all right? Get a wider base, all right? And then just bend there. All right, now, right, what's your name? Yuki. All right, so Yuki, what she's going to do is she's going to push him. I don't want you to let her move you out of the way. You understand? You're strong, right? All right, so you push on that shoulder right there. Don't let her push. Yeah, just one arm, too. Just one arm. How much you bench press? 300 pounds. No, 300. All right, so all you want to do is just push on this shoulder here, but don't let her move you out of the way. Say, go. Whoa, wait a minute. You try? Don't let her move you out of the way. Squat down. Get a wider base. Squat down. Push on that shoulder right there. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Right-handed. Oh, she using the left hand. Don't let her push out. Wait, come on, let's go. Squat down. Do that. Push it. Whoa. So you see that? Now, let me show you this. Now, same thing. Same position. Now, I want you to push on his right shoulder. Squat down. Don't let him move out the way. Say go. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Are you trying? It's your right hand. All right, use two hands. Don't let him move out the way. Say go. You see how much harder it is for her to move out the way? Let's do it one more time. Left shoulder. All right? Push on this left shoulder. Put your left hand this time. Say go. Don't let her push it. All right? Now, push on this right shoulder. Don't let her push it. Use two hands. See the difference? All right? The reason being, right, when she's making contact with him, all right, when she made contact and she pushed on his left shoulder, all right, because his right foot is up, he has no power. Everybody say that. So we say near foot, near shoulder, right? So now when we go to make contact, imagine him making a tackle. And when he makes a tackle with his right shoulder and his right foot is down, right, he's got more power. Because now look at him. When she try to push him, it's harder. Everybody understand that? So that's one of the, y'all give him a hand for it. Thank you. So that's one of the things we talked about. We want to put you guys in a power position. So if I'm right here, Rocky, we talk about leverage. So if Rocky's the ball carrier, right, and he's running the ball, if I'm coming from this leverage, what is my near foot? Which foot is my near foot, my right or left? Right, all right? So now I'm looking to make contact with my right foot and right shoulder. I'm in a power position, boom. I'm owning my leverage. Shoulder leverage, tackle team, same thing. If I'm coming over here, Rocky's the ball carrier. If I'm going to make a tackle, which shoulder is my leverage shoulder? Left, which is my near foot. So now I'm working on this position because I want to have power. All right, when I make that tackle, I want to be in a powerful position. Because a lot of times, I know growing up, I was one of the smallest kids on the team, so I had understanding leverage, and I didn't even know it at the time. But I did know how to tackle low, And so that's what we're talking about. We want to put you in a power position where this guy's running, where we can now own our shoulder, own our leverage, and make the tackle. Do everybody understand that? That's the reason why we do what we do, okay? Because right now, if I go here, and then now I look at his right shoulder, his right here, he can beat me inside. And a lot of times, especially when we're a quarterback, hey, we got to contain every guy on the field. We want to, hey, if we miss that guy, we want that guy to go to our help, to our other teammates. Do everybody understand that? So that's why it's important when we talk about leverage shoulder tackling or owning our leverage. These are the things we talk about because number one, it puts us in a safe position. Number two, it puts us in a position of power. And number three, we don't want to be a traitor on our own teammates. We want to use our help if we do mess up. Everybody understand? Because they practice too. All right, Mikey back in the day, he's got a little quick moves. He can make me miss. But if I miss, right, and now I'm gonna miss towards my leverage, counting on my teammates to make the play, to help me make the play. Does everybody understand that?
Great. And so, point is, we never play football alone. There's teammates, and as a matter of fact, the sideline becomes a teammate. So the simple question is, if I'm a corner and they catch the ball right there and the sideline is where it's closest to you, whatever I am at in relation to where he has the ball, I'm going to use this shoulder. Okay, so now my sideline becomes my teammate. If I'm outside of him, okay, the sidelines are, I'm going to own my leverage and count on teammates showing up right there. So we don't have guys make decisions, oh shoot, okay, I got to work, my help's there, I got to work outside or inside. Wherever you're at when the ball comes is where we want to own that leverage. Okay, and last, now that we've got some space, maybe we're done, just do a little running gather. Okay, one of our fundamental principle drills that we do, let's why don't you look right there and we'll run this thing. This is one of our drills I learned at USC with Coach Nick Cole. It's called run and gather. So same thing. So there's space. We're mimicking space. And as he runs, he's the ball carrier. I am the tackler. Okay? And as I'm running to him, my nearest foot is right here, my left foot. And I'm tracking his near hip. So as I'm running, I have to run and close the whole time. And what do I look at? The near what? Near hip. As that hip settles, I'm gathering. Okay, so as I'm looking at him, I'm just glued a zeroed in laser beam on his near hip. Okay, so we're just going to go through this nice and easy. So as I'm running here, say go. I'm running. He gathers. I settle. He runs. I gather. He runs. I gather. Still, it's about the hip. And like we talked about, fundamentally, I'm still getting my near foot position, looking at my hip right there the whole time. And as he works, this is just like a fundamental drill. As he works to slow down, as he works to cut back, I'm slowing down, gathering. I got my near foot here, my leverage hip opened up if he wants to jump cut or try to beat my leverage. And as the big fundamental thing is, as I'm closing on Michael here, I have to keep closing. It's Coach Faso, the expert at special teams and spatial tackles, can tell you, you can't just stop. You cannot just stop. He coaches big athletes like T.J. McDonald who need to be able to keep closing with that big body. He stops, and those little guys are running by him. He's got to keep closing and trusting that he's got teammates and sideline support coming to his side. Okay, so that's fundamentals again. How do I own my leverage so I can hit him with my leverage side shoulder? Have an attacking plan. Philosophically, coaches, this is what we say in terms of instilling confidence in your athletes. Develop a tackling plan. How do you do that? Okay, players, it starts with leverage. Own your leverage, and that's the shoulder that you're going to hit. What do I look at, coach? I look at my near hip. How do I get to him? I got to run and gather, get our near foot swoop. And then when you get there, you taught them how to profile, you taught them how to hot tackle, you taught them different various techniques that you taught them. So when they're there, they've been there before. It's just like life. If you have a clear thought of who you are, you can make decisions a lot more clear instead of having to figure out as it's happening. Just like in the game of football, we want to have a clear thought, exactly how to do it, so when it happens, boom, this is where I go to instinctively. Like I said, we don't want to make this overly complicated. Football is still football. Okay, guys like Michael, guys like Kenny who play at the highest level, it's not about confusing these guys. Coach Fossil, he got great athletes, but he's not trying to confuse these guys. We want our players to play with a God-given ability, the blessing of playing football, and go. But this is what's the key thing is, it's so simple. Stay on your leverage, own the hip, and hit him with that shoulder. Okay, and then like we said, we got more material for us to, for you guys to check out. And you guys are able to contact us to that website again. It's www.shouldertackling.com. So Mike, maybe it's time for questions. And we'll have a mic floating around. You can ask us about anything.
Yeah, questions, but also, Rock, I think it might be helpful if, I know the technology's a bit difficult right now, but if you could show just some stuff so they can see the live action, that would be great from the video.
I'm not sure if we're up on that, actually.
What's that?
I'm not sure if that's going right now, so.
Okay, we'll have some questions, but would you be comfortable doing that just to show? Just
Yeah, if it works, I'd love to,
Great.
but it's not on right now, so.
Excellent. All right.
No, I'll go to you.
Okay. Chris has a microphone, and I have a microphone. We have one back here. Question. Identify yourself, please, and where you're from, and then your question.
Yeah, Bill Devenati from LA Harbor College. Coach, it's clear you're super passionate and enthusiastic about everything that you do and what you teach. Where does that come from?
Well, I think bottom line is Jesus dominates me. I'm a Christian, and everything I do, even if like my computer doesn't work, how do we handle that? You know, it's like, okay, got it. You know, you work through the script. Like you've done this clinic many times over. First time without the video. It's bottom line is, you know, football was my identity. And growing up, and that's what everything was most important to me. At college, at the University of Southern California, someone shared the gospel message of Jesus Christ with me, and I became a Christian. It translates to everything as a husband, as a father, and in coaching football. So I see it as an act of worship to him. So he gives me everything. That's bottom line. He's the most important to me. And here's a topic that Coach Carroll's been talking about. You know, he's been awesome.
I'm just gonna get to that.
Huh?
I was just gonna get to that.
You want to get to that?
Yeah, go ahead. No,
Okay, you just kind of led me to Bill this big question about what happens after our athletes are done playing football. Okay, in the NFL, there's a startling statistic that 80% of players, National Football League players who are done playing football, end up on at least one of three categories, or a combination: addicted, divorced, or bankrupt. At least one of them: addicted, divorced, bankrupt. 80%! That's a startling, this is a horrific fact. And even talking to players that we've coached at the University of Southern California, how are athletes doing after they're done playing? Coach Carroll has been doing an incredible job of trying to open the eyes of our players to what's next. What is your purpose in life? So Bill, that kind of ties into what you asked. What is your purpose? And in essence, these are the things that even Coach Carroll's talking about to the NFL players. This is where the leadership of football is in this room right now, in this community. It's the coaches and the parents. Michael and I, Kenny, Coach Fossa, Coach Jeff, okay, we coach NFL players. You know, the platform God's given us is a platform. We don't get to touch guys on an individual level. I believe this is where the leadership of the room sits for our whole community. How we handle that, how we direct our players is crucial. And 80%, that's an ugly stat. It's like, it isn't. So the point is, I make it to the league, my life is set. It's not that at all. There's more. So most players don't even make it to the NFL. So what happens to those guys right after now? It happens a lot sooner. I believe you guys have a powerful influence in that. So next question.
Yeah, we have someone over here real quick. Just a minute.
Thank you. Ben Hammer, Western Metro University. I have just a question between the profile tackle and the thigh tackle or block tackle. Coach Barrow, you talked about the taller the guy, more likely to go for a thigh tackle, and other indicators that you give your players from the process when to decide which tackle they use?
A lot of times, I mean, you have a game plan, but it's like boxing until you get hit in the mouth and you just like do whatever, you know? So the biggest thing we want to do is just make sure we can give them suggestions. Like Rocky does an excellent job every week, every week consistently, whoever we play, right? He's giving suggestions on how we should tackle this guy. If it's a tackle, a guy that's a stronger, bigger guy that's just breaking a lot of tackles, then we will encourage our guys, hey, the hog tackle, you know? If it's a guy that's smaller, whatnot, that we feel like we can overpower him and we want to be physical, then we'll encourage profile tackle. But a lot of times when you're on the field, you're just reacting. And a tackle is a tackle, whether it's a big hit or a shoelace, you just want to get the guy down. So what we're hoping and expecting is that when we drill this consciously, all the time, that it'll be subconscious, just automatic. They'll just use one of the tools that we gave them, that we've been working on, either profile or hawk roll tackle.
Yeah, the big thing is like, we definitely want to capitalize on the creativity of the player. Guys that do different stuff just naturally. Like Bobby has a lift tackle. He's one of our best lift tackles. He just does. He's one of the best guys on the whole team. We emphasize that he's a guys champion. Earl Thomas is a big hot tackler. He's one of our safeties. Tackles guys at the legs. All the Cam Chancellors blows guys up. So we want to give them the tools and then let their creativity, their instincts take over. Okay.
But he's able to have a big hit without the head.
Say that again?
He's able to have a big hit without the head.
Yes, totally. Shoulders.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add with that, it just made me think about when I was a little kid, we used to play tackle, where we was doing the hawk tackle, didn't know it was hawk tackle in front of the school before school started. And I remember I was tackling a big dude named Ronald Bryan. I was a small guy, and I went right for the thighs, So based on the person, based on the individual, the defensive individual, if you got a smaller guy in order to build his confidence, hey, just have him work on hawk tackle. Just work on those based on his physical ability. Because by the majority of the time, he's going to be the smallest on the field and he's not strong, but you want them all to be confident and sure of the technique. So you don't want to encourage a smaller guy who's real small to keep going and profile tackle, because he's going to come up short a lot, because he's not going to have the power, and he's not going to have the confidence either. So I would also tell them maybe to each individual player.
Excellent. And Coach, you mentioned the website that a lot of this is on. Could you mention that again?
Yes, www.shouldertackling.com. Just
www.shouldertackling.com. If you're writing notes, write it down. If you're not writing notes, put it in your phone. www.shouldertackling.com. We have another question over here.
Yes, sir. Mark Dale Hughes with the South Bay Spartans. You pretty much answered my question. This is Lawson, one of our players. He got more heart in his body. You know what I mean? And
Microphone to the mouth.
I was wondering, for someone small like him, with the determination, with the heart, how do they approach this technique? Do they keep the same competencies with it every day?
It's the same thing. One thing about this technique that Rocky, or that we're teaching overall, that we're taking ownership of, it's not, like you mentioned, it's not something new. It's something that was there from the beginning. That we, in my belief, we got away from it when the equipment got more advanced. They got the helmet, because he talked about the guy, MacArthur, when they introduced the face mask, it was like a single bar face mask, And I think what happened is that as technology got more advanced, we got away from the foundation, from the fundamental foundational things. Like I just alluded to earlier, when I grew up, I'm over 40, we used to play tackle, without pads, and we were doing shoulder lever tackle. We didn't know what we called it, but hey, man, just go tackle on the thighs, And when you look at those old school film and the guys that he mentioned that he talked to, the Dick Buckers and other guys like that, and then he talked about rugby being, pretty much being the origin of the football. The technique is all the same, So with that question, just like what I do on my level, obviously I coach high school and I coach college, and now I'm coaching NFL. And when I learned about this, I talk to all phases. Right now, matter of fact, I was just helping out a friend of mine. He's coaching the Pop Warner team, the Mighty Mikes, over there in Pasadena, and he's teaching the same thing that we're teaching. So what I would do, and I hope this answers your question, I would just teach them the fundamentals that we just talked about, the fundamentals of profile, the fundamentals of hawk tackle. Teach them those basic fundamentals, and then just let it carry over. So then now when he gets on the field, he's empowered, because he may choose one that's best for him,
Yeah, it's a progression. Start off slow, and then advance to more space. And then it's coaching is like it's teaching, and you instill his confidence the way through, you know? So by the time he hits there, it's like, I've done this already. My coach has taught me to do this already. I've been in this situation. So as you progress to like sort of the final stages, try to make the drill just like how the game's gonna be, so that the player feels like, man, I've been there before. That's a big thing that I would like to emphasize on that.
Excellent. Got to toss it back here.
Scott Barrow, Westchester High School. I didn't hear you guys talk about bringing the hips. Is that something you guys teach?
Yes, that's where, like, with the ball drills, like when we talk, the hips is to an uppercut. So like a lot of our terms, notice it's like tracted near hip, near foot. It's like, what is a near foot? You get your near foot up, you know? So a lot of the principles, like the uppercuts, we talk about getting our 2 uppercuts in, with that ball that Mike talked about, where you're striking the sled. We like to get our 2 uppercuts in there to get our hips in there. Okay, and you want to talk, I know you're passionate about
Yeah, that's funny because when I came to Seattle, him and Wacky and I had a conversation about the same thing, because I'm big on bringing the hips, you know. But just as what he talked about, that part is captured in when you go rap and drive, all right? So when I go rap, all right, when I rap, I'm teaching rap more like I'm teaching uppercut, all right? You know, like Tiger Woods when he get on that 18 hole and he go, whoo, you know? And he bringing his hips, same thing right here. It still allows me, when I'm in this position, a profile tackle, I go rap and I drive, and then as I drive for 5, I'm running my feet and I'm bringing my hips. So that point you're talking about is wrapped up in that word, hey, rap and drive for 5. You see what I'm saying? That's going to allow me to bring my hips so I can continue to bring that power. And so when I talked about earlier with the Vizio ball, same concept, all right? When he throws the ball, I'm going here and I'm teaching my guys uppercut to the sky. So as I uppercut, all right, it's bringing my hips, okay? So one of the things, because when you make a tackle, like I said, tackle is tackle, you just want to get them down. And one thing I learned, like, for example, y'all entertain me. Everybody stand up for a second. Stand up for a second. All right, so right now, all right, everybody just do like this hard as you can, like you're doing a bench press. All right? He's doing a slow bench press. All right? All right, now I want you to do now uppercut. All right, fast as you can. Uppercut. All right, what's the difference? When I do this, are my hips moving? No, but when I do this, what's happening? Do you feel your hips moving? Even if you don't want your hips to move, right? It's moving. Everybody understand that? So when we talk about rapping, if I bring my uppercut, it's bringing my hips and my feet. Do you understand that? So that's the point that we're emphasizing as well. Y'all can understand.
Good.
Good question.
Great question, great question.
Yeah, real quick, Jason Gilbert, head coach at Mary Star City High School. More of a suggestion than a question. You talked about the crash pad, the mats. Those are pretty expensive. What we've been able to do is, a great suggestion, is those agile step-over bags that Coach Seto mentioned holding. If you take some of those and you lie them next to each other, one up, one down, one up, one down, it makes a great mat. You can use those agile step-over bags as a crash mat, and you can tackle on that. And we've done that for the last few years, and that's worked really well. And a lot cheaper than buying a $500, $600 mat.
So you must be from the hood, because my brother, we take a hanger, make a antenna, you know. You're like the guy. That's a great idea.
Coach, this is Eddie Brock from Eagle Catholic High School in San Diego. Can you tell us that these techniques, without assuming, apply to the inside run and special teams more of a open field tackle?
Yeah, this principle that we teach, whether you're tackling an ISO into the A-gap or a fly sweep into the perimeter or like a wide open special teams play on punting, the point is this: when you get there at the point of impact, what are you going to tell your athlete? That's the big thing. What do we tell them? So what we tell them to boom, hit with your leverage shoulder, and now you have a principle to teach, and you keep hammering us. Are there times where the head gets involved? Yeah, it happens, but you're not coaching them to do that. Right? You're coaching them with the shoulder. So whether it's the profile or the hawk tackle, we've seen guys tackle guys low at the thighs, right into the A-gap, or hit them high, right through the near pec into the A-gap as well. So these principles that I would say applies to all levels. All areas.
Just what he was talking about, same thing. We talked about the running gather. I'm I'm running, all right? And then now I'm gathering, trying to get myself in position, right? If he's coming to the hole, it's no different. I'm here, and then now I'm stepping striking. It's still, I'm getting one foot up to create a base, and it's the same thing, I'm wrapping, I'm trying, you know? And it applies to everything. I mean, it's like basically when I get up here, I'm a receiver, I'm running to make this block, I'm gathering, instead of tackling now, I'm blocking, get my hands inside. So it's just the way I'm using my hands, that's one of the things that changed. But the footwork to get you in that position, when I start getting body on body, but the footwork is all the same.
Great. Chris?
Okay, I'm Coach Washington from LA Southwest College. First, I want to thank you fellas for coming out today. This is just awesome. And it's something that needs to be touched on, because if we don't do some things, football won't be like it's been for years. There are factions out here that are trying to stop football. And I wish the room was full of our little Pop Warner coaches, because when I go out to Pop Warner practices, all I hear is hit, hit, hit. But no one's talking about how to hit and do the proper things as far as tackling. Unfortunately, I had a young man to break his neck. That's not a good thing. One thing I heard you touch upon, but there's one thing that's extremely important, is the proper positioning of the head. The head is up. The motion hit is a sprain. Head down is at its weakest point, so you always keep it up. But fellas, thank you guys for coming out.
Oh, you're right. Okay, we talked to this, you bring up a point in Inglewood. I mean, the reason why we led to Rams, because they're teaching principles like this. And also, this is your team in LA, and the city, okay, we talked to college football coaches who recruit. In certain affluent areas, participation in football has gone down maybe 30%. All right? In the city, participation is still what it is. Football is important to the community in the city. If we're going to play football, we've got to teach it right, and to protect our players, protect the game. And one of the things that's come about is this: we don't ever want football to become just a sport for sport demographic. This is America's game. Okay, we want to protect the game of football. We love the game. It's the greatest game in the universe. I mean, literally, you learn your lessons. We're developing leaders every single day through the game of football. So I applaud the Raiders. You know, Kenny's from Westchester. He's a product of the city. Okay, you're new, really going back to the old school level. You're LA Rams. That's why they're here. These guys are here. I'm from Southern California. Okay, we love the city. Mike is in here. He's here with his family, spending time here off of vacation, because we care about football, but we care about football in the city as well. Yes.
Hi, my name is Michelle Kisman. I'm the board president for Mira Costa High School Rugby, and I'm also on the board for our football team. And I think the first thing I need to tell you is that the Lord brought me here today. So the thing I want to share with all of you is that what he's describing to you about this tackling technique, when we had our number 6 in the nation ranked rugby team teach our football team these techniques, we went from 11 concussions year before last to just 1 last year, and the 1 last year was not an tackling incident. I actually only found out about this because I was writing a flyer for a clinic that my rugby team is going to provide next Sunday afternoon at Mira Costa High School. And originally for us it was a fundraiser, but I feel very compelled to say this. If anyone here wants to come learn from our championship team and our championship coaches, you are firmly invited. If you can donate something towards your program, great. But if you can't, we don't care. Come anyway. I am a football mama, first and all. My son is a defensive end, and he is a wide sweep. And I'm going to tell you, if you want your kids to play safer, you want to come learn how to play this way.
Maybe a couple
My name is Calvin Mosley. I'm a senior left tackle here at Inglewood High School. My question is, was there at any point in time where like you were teaching this concept of tackling where like a player challenged you like, oh, I was taught like this, or like if you're watching film and it's like, it seemed like everything you taught like one player just went here out the other because they didn't like follow your concept of tackling?
Yeah, that's a good question. People are asking, what is the difference between coaching in college versus coaching National Football League? In my opinion, I think coaches give players may be shy off of teaching principles and techniques. And so like when we started teaching this, there was the players, if they don't believe that it's gonna help them, the coach has to have that conviction. This is what's best for you, your health and actual performance. And whether it's the Rams or the Raiders or us, we're not going to sacrifice performance, right? We got to play. And I know what you care about. You want to play well and do your best. So by God's grace, I haven't experienced any pushback. They would ask questions, okay, why should I do this? Oh, okay, got it. Okay, the difference between like the guy who's okay and the guy that's really good is like the really good guy cares about getting better. So, and you know, our teams have been blessed with guys that just want to play as good as they can become. So that's a great question, coaches. Okay, it's not just been NFL. It's like if you're coaching college or high school, what if I get pushback? Okay, if you do, it starts with you owning, just like we talked about, doing the drills for yourself, owning the conviction that this is what's best for you and this is what's best for the game. That's the only way this is going to change. Coach Carroll has championed this from the top down, from me to all the assistants down to the players. And I'm going to boldly say this. I believe this is going to be Coach Carroll's Pete Carroll's biggest contribution to the game. Forget about what happened at USC. Forget about any wins or losses at the Seahawks. If there is no more game of football, there is no more champions, there's no more opportunity to play. This is his biggest contribution, our biggest contribution to the game that we love. So, yes, there could be pushback. We haven't experienced that. But if there is, it starts with, do you own it, coach? Do you actually believe this is the best thing for the players?
Excellent. All right. A couple more questions real quick for the side. Yes, Coach, go.
First and foremost, Coach, thank you for sharing skills you have with Coach Parker. How do you feel so far about, as the game changes, how do you get this technique across that coaches been coaches for a long time don't want to embrace that change?
Yeah, it's good. How do we help coaches who have pushback to this technique? Okay, all I got to say is this. If you're not convinced that this is safer, if you're not convinced that this helps you be a better tackling team, we go to point number 3. You putting yourself at risk. Okay, if you're still the coach that's saying, hey, get your head across, see what you hit, or hit your shoulder, you can get your head across. If, God forbid, something happens, and that's in the minds of your athletes, you have no recourse. It's a new day. It's a new day, and just like people make gripe about, hey, that was a great hit in the 80s and 90s. We grew up watching those hits. If you don't adjust, the game will pass you by. It's those who are able to adjust with the times that's going to thrive in the game of football. So I hear you, man. I've heard a lot of those type of questions as well, and I just appeal that this is what's best for the players. This is what's best for their actual performance, and you got to protect yourself as coach and organization. So, Mike, I think we have a question back there.
Yes, Coach Jose, Bernstein High School JV. This concept goes way back when I was playing high school in the late 70s. I was taught to Dale Washburn, who came from Colorado State, this exact concept at that time. And the 3 years that I played, he fully emphasized safety as far as this concept. It might have not been the way you guys explained it, but I remember the way it was taught. And me being small and as a corner, I didn't like it. I played tailback. I learned this concept from him to learn how to properly tackle, to be able to play this game at its best and enjoy it. And I'm glad that you guys have this concept out for all the kids. And I wish, as far as that other coach, would bring out down to the level as far as the Mighty Mites on up. that all coaches should have some kind of maybe mandatory clinic or somehow to attend besides the seminars in order to teach these coaches. All of us to be on the same page and the same principle, so these kids are able to live their dreams out, be able to play this game that we all love to coach and have played before. Thank you.
Coach, good words, good words.
Talking about big playing, USA Football program that provides certification teaching this principle, and the cost is minimal. I don't know how much it costs, but I talked to the guys. This is pretty minimal. You go online, check it out. But the biggest thing is, you're right, the coaches are the ones who lead the players. Huge responsibility to making sure they're safe and keep our game safe. So,
We have something like that.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Petra. This is my son, freshman. I just have a question. Any recommended drill from home, like outside of the practice for defensive players, like a basic drills he can work on at home on his own?
Yeah, just like some of the things that work like in a hallway, working in the hallway of the carpet, learning just to get used to touching each other with the shoulder, grabbing and bringing people down. Just simple as that. It's gonna feel more and more. The more you do it, it's gonna be natural. And you're just watching TV. Just grab your buddy, grab your brother, just grab his legs, bring him down, grab his legs, bring him down, make sure there's nothing that's going to bump your head, but just simple drills. In the backyard, a run and gather drill, okay, that you can find online, the one that we just demonstrated. Just that, getting the proper footwork down, training your eyes to see the hip, it's going to help you greatly, hugely. And defensive line, even our nose tackles have to track, whether it's a 5-yard space. Okay, DN, you're going to have to track as well. So this is just not a DB or special teams type of technique, okay? So just work out those fundamentals. You don't even have to have equipment for most of the stuff that we've talked about today, okay?
You just made me think about some drills. I'm just trying to told you I'm from the ghetto. So you can grab a pillow, right? Get a long pillow, and then you can hold it, and you can do that. So if he says he got a pillow in his hand, I can work on here, as far as coming here, I go here, and I can tackle the pillow, So the drills we talked about, or he can be in this position here. You can have the pillow right here, just standing right here, and you can work on wrap and roll, So so you may not have the fancy equipment and stuff like that, but you can just, take a long pillow and just work on the footwork, the running gather, just from this position. Like if I'm way over here, I'm just running and then just work on uppercut, finish with the pillow and stuff like that. You can make it work as well.
Yeah, you're welcome. Coach.
All right, hello, my name is David Richardson. I'm the secondary coach at West LA College. I played a few years in the NFL along with one of your coaches, Nick Sorensen. And I wanted to know how much time is spent drilling this technique in each practice and possibly from spring, summer, up until training camp. Because I would like to implement it a lot for my team. And we only have a small window. And I wanted to know how much time really is implemented during this time.
So just kind of how we do it is we talk about some kind of tackle like daily, in the meeting room. So you'll have the footage offline, or you could develop your own stuff that you take off your players. So we'll talk about the meetings, and then the players, whether it's Kenny, with Michael, Chris Richard, the DB coaches and D-line, Travis Jones, they start making the drills specific, tailor-made. So most guys do some type of tackling related exercise daily. Whether it's a tracking drill, running gather, whether it's wrapping guys up. So it's not doing the same exact drills every single day. So for example, like like your DBs, like with our nickels and our safeties, we play a lot of cover 3. We high-low most of our principles, meaning if you're a crow flat player, we're going to take away the 7 cut and come down to maybe throw a ball into the flat. We develop the drills where you get in depth. We call it butt to the sideline, get in planning and coming down, and then we tackle a bag that a ball carrier is running. So just as we develop from the basics, now you progress to, all right guys, we're going to see a lot of 7 cuts this week, or this season, we got to work on high lows. So we try to do it every day, daily, as much as we can. And Mike, how do you structure your index?
Yeah, I mean, same every day. Like you talked about, I mentioned earlier how a friend of mine is coaching the Pop Warner team out in Pennsylvania. And right now, man, he schedules something every time they're doing footwork. He makes part of his footwork and agility some form of tackle. And what I do, I try to do, doing especially, so the off season, you really can give you a great opportunity to build a strong foundation. You can take some select drills and work on different things. And once the season goes, then now I just keep every day, every time we're on the field, I'm doing some form of tackle. Also, special team coaches are great because every day, our special team coach is incorporating some type of tackling drill, and we just continue to just emphasize it. It's got to be something because, like somebody, I think Coach Joe mentioned, hey, it's time to tackling and blocking. These are fundamental things that we should try to do every day because we're going to reap the benefits of it. So for me, I work on different things. I'll do the running gather. Say on Wednesday, say once we get in the season, I'll do what we call a flare tackle. Like he mentioned about the corners dropping back. Well, just imagine if he's a running back and he flares out, so flare out that way. Then linebackers will work on a drop, and then we'll ball, and then boom, I'm running, and boom, open field tackle like that. I'll do, the other guy mentioned about in the box, I got a drill to match our front, we call stack and track. So now we're right here. I got 3 pop-ups right here, and then now we go over here, and he breaks either way, and then I work on just closing, therefore ready to go. So we work on some fundamental, like I said, you don't have to do a lot of drills. All right, just take about 2 or 3 drills and just work on that all the time. Yeah. That's it. That's all you got to do. You got to be crazy. 2 or 3 drills and just work on, just rotate those drills.
Yeah, I think you touched on a good point. This is not going to be like one presentation the coach gives and you rarely emphasize it. We talk about it, Ken and I can say like, you get what you emphasize. Yes. So when you talk about it and you do a little something to keep it topical in the mind constantly, and it happens. So that it's about teaching. It's about teaching and making sure we think differently on this whole tackle thing.
Yes. This is the last question. We're gonna ask a question.
I was going to say, plus also, coach, before the coaches often work with technique, we need kind of say maybe sometimes you can work a technique when you get the coach's office to talk to your coach. You can get shit in mind to repetition.
Excellent. All right, last question.
Hey, my name is Suzanne with the Pacific Warriors women's football team. When you guys were doing your running gather and you're going from the right to the left, in my mind, am I your foot in my right? Or is it because you're more square that it's to your left?
Yeah, so it's basically, how we look at the running gather is imagine if Mike is running a swing route or a sweep, a bubble screen, for us, so if I'm in the inside out leverage position, meaning outside towards the curtains over there, I want to maintain my leverage in the inside. So this is an inside out leverage. So if he cuts back, I still got it right there. But whereas if I get my right foot up, okay, so he's running the swing route of the bubble, I get my right foot up, like, oh, you're done.
Your hips are closed, so you can't reopen.
So it's as you see it, I would see it like more of an inside out perimeter tackle. Okay, and then and where you're chasing them to the imaginary sideline or imaginary teammate that's coming to turn the ball back right there. So even like our Coach Schneider, our special teams coach, great at it, to Coach Fossil, hammers this point is like, as you're running down a lot of space, you just dominate your leverage, trust that there's someone going to be outside, and then you just own your leverage, and things just work out pretty good. That's why we have to have every warrior running to the ball, right? It's not just a one man or one woman tackle. It's we try to swarm to the ball. Okay. So, Mike.
Excellent. This is all the Q&A, but I want our experts to come back up, please. That we had up earlier. Coach, come on up. Sponsor. Yes. Coach Norton, thank you. Brilliant. All right, just in general, about another 5 minutes or so of Q&A for these guys. Chris, I guess. As both coaches and practitioners, it gives you a different perspective than just Coach Barrow and Coach Seto's perspective. You have another question, sir? Okay.
This is for you, Coach. What was it like? This is for you, Coach Norton. My question is, what was it like coaching Bobby?
Coach Bobby Wagner. Oh, it was a challenge. Bobby loves ball. Bobby's a great athlete. But we had things in common. I had to really find out who he is. I've learned as a coach. I've become a better coach once I spend a lot of time with the player, understanding what he loves to do, understanding what he's like, understanding what our things we have in common, and really understand the player himself and his motivations and why he plays and what's important to him. As soon as I get that, and he understands that I'm there for him and trusts me, I think our relationship really took off, and his ability to grow as a player took off. So, to answer your question, it was a challenge early, but as he blossomed, you see the player he turned into now. It was very rewarding.
Coach States, question.
Hi, Madam Clark, head football coach at Western New Mexico University. In terms of running gathering, do you guys have a certain yardage area you want them when they're approaching from that? How many yards away from the ball carrier? That's when you're going to gather. Is a certain yardage area you give them?
Yeah, on the run and gather portion, that's really more fundamental footwork type of thing where like we're working on getting transition from running, gathering. So as soon as the ball carrier's hip sinks, as if to mimic a cutback or slowing down, we just give them the gather. But in real life situation like the swing route that he did, is that anywhere where you feel that you could lose your leverage, you have to start thinking about gathering and getting your foot up. And I wish I could tell you it's a 2.5 yard market, maybe for some, better athletes, but for a bigger dude, whatever, it may be harder. So any things that you feel like you're going to lose your leverage, that you will start getting your foot
Question for Kenny. Kenny, you played with two of my ex-players, one I had in high school, one I had at community college, and one, James Washington, tells me to tell you hello. What kind of football players were those fellas? Teammates were they for you?
I'll tell you, they both were special. Both made me a better player. James in particular, I've been knowing him since high school. He went to Jordan, I went to Westchester, completely opposites of the spectrum, opposites of Manchester. Made me a better player. And it's important to know after you play football, that there is life after football, that you want to be able to walk and talk and think, and the tackling that you're learning, again, keeps your head out of the game, and you can think and be a normal person after the game and be able to coach it. But at the same time, those are two very special people who made me a better person today.
Coach Norton, how do you feel about Bruce Irvin and Michael Smith comparing to some of the other Raiders?
That's a good question. I feel great, right, Seto and Coach Barrow, that Bruce Irvin is on my team now.
I'm hurt.
Yes, and I'm excited about building the team, building his defense around him. He's an outstanding athlete. And again, what he and Malcolm bring, they understand the system I believe in. I taught them, I coached them for a while. So now that we have all these things in common, we can spread the message to the rest of the guys on the team. So it's just another guy that I can clasp arms with to really be a strong defensive unit.
Play football, and I'm gonna pose this question all of you up there. Can you stress the importance of their education?
Okay, Twitter style. Here we go.
All right,
Twitter style. Educate education?
For me, I had a great opportunity coaching at University of Miami for 7 years. And one of the tragedies that I run across to is whenever I go to recruit and you see a great athlete, is that he doesn't have the greatness, you know. And what Rocky mentioned earlier about we get what we emphasize as coaches, I think I want to challenge the coaches and the parents in the room is that we got to emphasize more academics. With the NC2A requirement, they're not changing. They're not grading on a curve. Actually, the standard is being raised even higher. And before, for example, when I was in college, you know, a lot of kids when they go to high school, you know, there's usually be the roughest times where they have poor grades, but then a lot of times we make it up on the back nine. We change the ending with online classes that we take, or we go to summer school, or credit recovery, and all those things like that. Well, now, with like I said, with the rules with the NC2A, they're pretty much limited in that as well. So really, at this point, if you're not qualified, then now your option is going to be JUCO, and if you go to JUCO route, a lot of people don't make it out of JUCO. You know, obviously, California, a lot of JUCOs out here and whatnot, but you got to go graduate from JUCO, then you deal with another. It's just a headache. Then the school you want to sign with, maybe all your credits don't transfer over, or you don't have the SAT score coming to high school because your GPA, and then the curve they do use your GPA, SAT score based on your core GPA is not right. You know, it's just, listen, let's eliminate all the drama. Let's take care of your business. The same time you spend playing video games or whatever you do, extracurricular activity, just carve out some time every day to take care of your school. You know, one thing we do in college is that we tell our kids in college, hey, sit in the front row. First 2 rows, no hats, no cell phone, all right? Get to know your teacher, all right? So it's hard to trust me, as teachers are human too, right? Or professors, it's hard to fail somebody when it's hard for a teacher to fail anybody if they know they're trying. I got my son right now, he's only going into 7th grade, but right now he's struggling to learn. Hey, but every opportunity we get, we write in that teacher face. I write there asking her, can you give me an extra credit? Can you help them out? And that teacher, trust me, a lot of these teachers, obviously if there's a teacher's room, you don't get paid a lot. You're doing, a lot of you guys are doing it because you love giving back to the kids, you love them now. So as an athlete, you gotta take advantage of that, you know, and you gotta put in the time, you gotta sacrifice the time, but academics has gotta be important because a lot of our kids are not making it because of bad academics.
I was going to add to that, Coach. Thanks for asking that question. We got a couple of guys on our team that left college early. Tavon Austin, Todd Gurley, because they came out after their junior year. And what they do in the spring and summer is they go back and enroll in school and they take courses over the internet all spring. They go back and they take summer school classes because they want to graduate. They made a commitment to maybe their mom, or maybe that was just something in them that they wanted to finish. So they spend time in the spring and summer going back to school so they can get that diploma. And something that stands out, I think, about some of those guys, kind of in general, is the best players are always the guys that seem to want to learn something new. They're always looking for some information that gives them a little bit of an edge, whether it's school, whether it's football, whether it's anything. So whether they just have it in them or whether it's learned, they always want new information to give them that edge. And they go back to finish school because that's important to them.
I think it's interesting, you gentlemen have a lot to say about education, but you're a couple of steps removed from the high school level and you're a step removed from the college level, but you still see that those habits and those qualities translate over in the NFL. They study a little bit in the NFL, don't they? I mean, it's a $10 billion business. I think they study a lot in the NFL. Coach.
Yeah, I'm a perfect example of a guy that didn't really apply himself when he was younger. I see a lot of players up here right now. I see a lot of players in here right now. When I was your age, I didn't apply myself at all. And so, but I had one of my coaches come to me and say, you know what, Jeff? He goes, you can be successful without a college degree. There's a lot of people out there. He goes, but if you get a college degree, it's almost like a driver's license for life. Meaning that you can go to the store, by walking to the store, catching the bus, things like that, and get your errands run that way. But it's a whole lot easier, okay, if you can drive yourself to the store, drive yourself to wherever you need to go, get what you need to get, and come back, or have someone drive you there. And so I think that was a great analogy for me. The light bulb went off that, you know what, I better get my act together, I better get my degree. Okay, I didn't learn as well as a lot of people. I had to put in more time. Okay, if it takes a guy 1 hour to get an A on a test, it'd probably take me 5 or 6. All right, but the bottom line is I had time. We always talk about, at least with the Rams, master the things that don't require physical talent. Certainly your efforts and time are things that you can master. Okay. The last thing I want to touch on earlier on, and I think Rocky and Coach Barrow did an excellent job in teaching this. Okay, as coaches. All right, we're also teachers, and we know that, okay? One thing to keep in mind is our job is to teach what to do and how to do it. But a lot of coaches and teachers don't tell you why. So for those of you that wonder, how do you get my player to buy in? How do you get a parent to buy in, okay? The big part of this thing is if you want the light bulb to go off in your room, in your classroom, in your home, okay, tell them why. Okay? Because there's a difference between a player asking a question and questioning. Questions are okay. Questioning is not. But if you give them the why, the third point, all right, that's important. I think with the Rams, Coach Fisher, who wanted to be here today, that had a prior commitment because he feels this is important. Okay? But Coach Fossil does a great job at teaching teams. I try to incorporate it, all right, in my teaching progression throughout my NFL career. Tell them what to do, tell them how to do it, but make sure you tell them why. And the light bulb will come off, you'll get the buy-in, and you'll experience great success. That's one thing these two guys did today on the stage. I thought they did an excellent job in giving you the whys of why this tactic system works. Thank you.
More importantly, first and foremost, student athletes. Student first is lost, a lot of kids forget and they want to actually play first and focus on that. But at the end of the day, school is really important because we were also a statistic a lot of people don't know about. NFL athletes last on average about 3.5 years. So you figure out of college, probably 21, 22 years old, so you figure 50 years up to that, about 26. You got a whole life benefit. And obviously, statistic of players being bankrupt, growth, whatnot. They don't have education. First and foremost, education is definitely key. Because after football, you've got to figure out people a long life ahead of you, and family is nothing more important to help you do things.
All right, folks, we have one last question. System.
Thanks, guys, for coming out. This is great. This question is for my rap. Born and raised. Sometimes change is always good. Sometimes not. You guys coming back to LA. Just have a different attitude, different mindset. Get going. Make the playoffs this year.
Make some noise out there.
My name is Stephanie Lopez. I'm with the Warriors football team. Okay, what I want to know is what's your intake on girls now, more girls now wanting to play this man's sport?
Ladies playing a man's sport. What you think?
I got the Knights. Can I start?
There you go.
I got 2 daughters, 4 and 2 years old. My 4-year-old wants to be a quarterback. And my 2-year-old, I don't know what she wants to be yet, but we play football all the time. So I think it's great. I think ladies should play. I think ladies should coach. And I'm telling my daughters the same thing. You know, I want to play football, Daddy. Okay, go ahead. It's everybody's sport. So I love the ladies that are here for it too. That's all.
That's right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's give our panel a hand. And I would just say this, this technology, this information, I'm just going to say it, the prime driver, Rock has been trying to get this out and been teaching it. And he asked me, Michael, we're about doing a clinic in LA. We did one in Arcadia. We did one in Bakersfield. Can we get it to LA? And Coach Sims graciously made this happen. But Rock, I just want to say publicly, just thank you for being a driver. You have no idea, folks, how many texts and phone calls Rock and I exchanged over the past month, 2 months, getting this done. And Inglewood graciously allowed us to use their great facilities. And you all were gracious enough to be here. But Rock, I just want to say publicly, thank you for making it happen. And I do believe also what you said. It is a world game. It is, in my humble opinion, the best game on the planet. And we do want to make it as good as it can be, and even better than it currently is. So Rocky, thank you for being one of the prime movers in that. And coaches, thank you for enthusiastically sharing the technology and your passion for the game and your passion for learning with these dear ones who, ordinarily, this is just another summer day. But on this morning, they decided to come and receive from you some of the really good stuff from some of the best athletes on the planet, some of the best teachers on the planet. So coaches, thank you very much. So folks, that's it. Our panel, they're going to be standing to the side if you want to come and talk to them. Thank you so much for being here. And the tackling website again is www.shouldertackling.com. Thanks so much.